Good afternoon, good evening, top of the time zone. I'm Alan C. You're with Johnnie J in the house, here on the Innervision FM universe. You're not going to want to miss today's podcast. Brought to you by Bonefields Foundation, Chinook Foundation, Christian Brothers Moving Company, Englewood, Colorado. Also, Richard Damiano of the Littleton Eye Clinic. Stay with us.
Oh my God.
That's who we love, and that's who we serve.
Mayor Trump, and you ain't black.
Is running now? Yes. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
Well, okay. Thank you very much.
Well, I didn't notice the audience clapped in stereo.
I put that, I just, at the last minute, I put it in stereo.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, so if you guys don't know, like, let's see, April showers bring May flowers.
Mhm.
So what if it's May showers? What does it bring?
I woke up this morning and it was probably 35 degrees or something crazy, 40
Yeah, it was kind of
degrees.
cool.
I'm like, wait a minute, hooray for global warming. I guess they're wow, I don't even know. Don't even
Yes.
know.
No, yes, but it was raining pretty good. It smelled pretty fresh out there.
Oh yeah.
And so I said, hey, okay, get those flowers. Yeah, I guess. Flowers. Yeah. So welcome to another Innervision FM. This is Johnnie J, Alan C. Hey Joe. We're all here again. And you guys on LinkedIn, you guys are really you're leaving a lot of impressions, but ask some questions too on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, if you have any show ideas. I found this lady, she was living in California, but then when the pandemic came, she moved for 6 years to New York. And she says it's very expensive there. I'm thinking like was it more expensive than California? But anyway, she's going to be on our show. She has Mondays. She has her own business and we're going to talk to her. She's going to send me her bio and we'll talk to her hopefully next Monday. Hopefully she won't skip like that band did, you know. But I found her off of LinkedIn and she sounded like she had a pretty interesting business. And so we're gonna get her on the show and talk to her about what she does for a living.
Maybe I might ask her then what I've been asking some of my business owner friends about with regard to this new tax law that is going into effect here in the United States, which could conceivably have an adverse effect on the way business is run here in America, not only for the business owner, but also for the employees who work for the business. And then obviously that would get passed on to the consumer eventually. Bunch of neat new regulations that our president has saw fit to try to implement with the help of the IRS and other agencies.
And you know,
Wait for November.
huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for November.
And
That's
also
right.
remember in 2025, all the tax cuts for businesses and for others will be they will run out of time. So hopefully, you know, we'll get the right guy in there again so he can say, okay, let's re-implement those tax cuts.
That's right. That's right.
And so we shall see what's going to happen.
And the mass deportation.
Yeah, man, all this BS. And now he's, of course, if you guys looking at the smoke screen, he's saying, well, we're gonna bring the Republicans back to the table to negotiate this border thing. But what they don't say is that there's a certain cap that 5,000 people, no, was it 5 million? It sounds either 5 million or 5,000 can come in a week
It's
before
5,000.
he can close the border, but he can already do that with executive order. So he's faking everybody else saying, no, I can't do it because I need Johnson to sign this. And what is in it, in that bill that he wants him to sign, is probably some other stuff that's going to screw us.
Yeah,
And
money for
no,
somebody else.
yeah, it's gonna make it where even when the next president come in, if it's a law now, he can't just change it. So I think it has some kind of clause in it where you put this through, and then business as usual will continue because it will tie the hands of the next guy that comes in. So never trust these politicians, man, especially one that's been there for 50 years and knows how to screw us over without Vaseline. So
How you tell when a politician's lying? His
Yeah.
mouth is moving.
That's absolutely it's absolutely
Let's
right.
see.
So we
Yeah.
got a little bit of a reaction video for you guys today for today's show, and it's only about 6 minutes long, but we'll have a little bit of commentary throughout the whole thing. If I do this correctly, hopefully you guys will see the video and not just hear the audio.
Well, let's test it first. Like put it on for like a second, and then pause it, and then make sure we can hear it.
Screen share.
All right.
I think we.
Close button. No button. Close button. This will stop other screen sharing. Yes button. Space. Layout and options are shown.
All right.
15 NFL condemned this speech by Super Bowl champ Harrison Butker.
Sorry about the voice, you guys.
Okay.
Where am I here?
Play keyboard shortcut to act. Play K. C slider left. P. K. 0 minutes. 0 minutes. 0 minutes.
I hear it.
Hear it, yeah.
All right.
0 0.
Okay, so yeah, okay. I don't know if you saw the video out there in the Innervision FM universe or can see my
No.
screen.
No,
But we
you're
can
not
hear
sharing
it.
your- can hear
Well,
it.
at least we got the audio. Well, shall we start?
Yes, this is Harrison Butker.
This is Harrison Butker, NFL
Picker.
football star kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he was doing some sort of a
Commensurate-
commencement speech at a
speech, yeah.
Catholic university. And the full speech is, I think it's like 18 or 19 minutes long.
About 20 minutes, yeah.
So do check the whole speech out. But there's a lot of wisdom in this. So, but this is the condensed version, and it's got some really good points. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and toss a comment down below. Tell us what you think in the Innervision FM universe about this.
0 minutes.
Please explain to me why in the world would the NFL condemn this speech?
It is only in the past few years that I have grown in courage to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father, and as a man. To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in.
Absolutely.
This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the US, and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well. Be unapologetic in your masculinity.
That's right.
Fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies
1
God,
minute. 2 seconds and 6 minutes.
that something that you might think suits you better. I speak from experience as an introvert who now finds myself as an amateur public speaker and an entrepreneur, something I never thought I'd be when I received my industrial engineering degree. The road ahead is bright. Things are changing, society is shifting, and people young and old are embracing tradition. Not only has it been my vocation that has helped me and those closest to me, but not surprising to many of you, should be my outspoken embrace of the traditional Latin Mass. I've been very vocal in my love and devotion to the TLM and its necessity for our lives. But what I think gets misunderstood is that people who attend the TLM do so out of pride or preference.
Wow.
I can speak to my own experience, but for most people I have come across within these communities, this simply is not true. I do not attend the TLM because I think I am better than others, or for the smells and bells, or even for the love of Latin. I attend the TLM because I believe, just as the God of 2 seconds is pretty particular in how he wanted to be worshipped, the same holds true for us today. It is through the TLM that I encountered order and began to pursue it in my own life.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
You pause it right there. I am thinking what you're thinking. You know what? I heard this other interview about how programming on television changed how we thought about. Huh?
At this page, click favorites button, collections button, collect route bill essential
Is it
button.
still going?
Hold a second.
You have stopped Johnnie Johnson's screen share. Settings or all at button menu. Press space to activate the menu.
Oh,
Escape.
oh, it says you stop screen sharing.
So people.
Zoom meeting.
Oh, yeah, so people.
15 legal help this speech by Super Bowl champ Eric. Join button unavailable.
Okay.
Okay. But like I said, I heard
Super Bowl champ Harrison Butker. Space. Settings or menu. New. 119.
I heard something about like when
All right, I killed it.
yeah, when Norman Lear started producing television shows, you remember like there used to be a time with it was well, a lot of you young people remember there used to be shows like Father Knows Best.
Yeah.
Right. And it showed like dads with a certain amount of wisdom, leaders of the house.
Leave it to Beaver.
Leave it to Beaver, stuff like that. And then when Norman Lear came in,
Turn on your microphone on your phone. Your PC stopped.
Anyhow,
okay, I'm unmuted. Okay,
there you are.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there. So when Norman Lear started producing shows like Archie Bunker, I used to think we got kind of distracted because we were saying like, oh, he's such a big and all that stuff, but we weren't seeing that the son-in-law was saying that your old ways are stupid and out of date, and that was the beginning of showing the parents as, or at least the parents and the father as being stupid, and that and we have to get rid of those old ways and
closed-minded.
Yeah, and it was ushering in when women were saying, "We don't need a man. We'll burn our bras and we can we can do anything a man can do and better." And then of course LBJ put in the thing where, ladies, forget about the man. We'll be the daddy. Just make sure that when we send you the check, you get the daddy or any man out of your house. So this whole thing was started back then, and it took like what, less than 20 years to see this turnaround where there was 70% of married husband and wife in the Black community. Then it turned around to 70% of all these single women, and women thinking that I could be the daddy and the mommy, and been told by these feminists that hey, you don't need a man. What no man is, man is not good. And some women, they took the bait. A lot of women took the bait.
A lot of women took the bait.
Yeah. And some women, they said, no, I like being a woman. Right?
In the defense of the woman, though, men by and large started checking out. Since the government decided for the women, hey, men are not needed in the home. If you guys end up splitting up, we'll give you all these benefits. Don't get you a boyfriend. Don't let that boyfriend move into your home. Don't this, don't that. We'll give you all this money, which took place in the 60s and 70s. it allowed for the man to really decide, well, heck with it. I'm going to check out. Deadbeat dads started really, becoming
Amping
a
up.
problem.
Yeah. And like Tucker Carlson, I mean, there were some fathers-in-laws like Tucker Carlson, and he said, "Hey, I want to marry your daughter." And it says, "Do you have a job, son?"
That's right.
And it's like, and I sort of dropped the ball because my daughter was this one boy was coming out and he came up to me and says, "I love your daughter." And I looked at him and I was thinking, and my mother would have just said it because my mother would just say, said, "Love is not going to feed you, son." And my daughter went in that with us, and she had the job, and he was sitting at home playing Nintendo games or whatever games they were playing with the video games with his boy with his other. I can't call them men friends. I got to call them because they were like 19 or whatever. And I'm thinking like, what's going on?
Yeah, when my little girl gets to be that old, it's like, well, I got a nice big shotgun here. What do you do for work? Are you a Christian?
Right.
Yeah.
What are your parents like? Well, I mean, because you got to know their history. You have to know their history. See where they're coming from.
Yeah, and my mistake was I said my mother talks so much. I said I was going to do it the opposite way. I said I'm going to show by example. So I took him to church and showed him. I took him to people thought it was a cult. Now this is why people thought it was a cult, because they believed that the guys should date within that church, and if they went on a date, it was a double date, and nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. So you get that date home before 10 o'clock.
Accountability.
Yeah.
You bet.
And people said, "You must be in a cult." I said, "Okay. I don't know. I'm not. We're not having any Kool-Aid runs or."
You're right.
Things like that. So I said, no, they're just talking about tradition. And so I thought, by example, showing your kids that would work. But parents, you really got to put the voice behind it and the example.
I think what's really transpired over the last 60 years is a big setup for Generation X, for the folks, whatever their label is before Generation X. But you've got, the folks that were born in the 50s and 60s that saw all of the underpinnings of what we've got now. That leads to the birth and the what do you call that? Culmination of generations Y and Z. We're starting to get to a place where there's a lack of belief in the ability of our institutions to be able to lead. Eventually, that'll lead to a situation potentially where there might even come a time where another generation rises up. Let's call those guys the alpha generation. These alphas, they're going to look back at the last 60 years or 70 years and say, wow, we've been bamboozled. And then when they start learning the true history of the way that things were, things like, are we a democracy or are we a constitutional republic? Once that true history starts getting taught, boy, it's over for the establishment. And I think we're getting to that place real quick.
Yeah, I saw this one video where this guy had the people saying, say, he says, stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. He says, I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic. And then at that point he said, stop. And then he explained that very fact to say, our pledge, it doesn't say, and we pledge our allegiance to the democracy.
Yeah.
And it's like, people, it just doesn't click because I guess we're so numb in so many cases.
Well, you got all your politicians and everything else saying it's a democracy, and it isn't. There's nothing about democracy. It's not a democracy. Simply isn't. Well, they're making it into a democracy.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
mob rule.
And then me and my friend, we used to joke back in the 70s, late 80s. He would, because I got to California after he went first to go to college, and then I went. And then he would joke about, you don't see the guys until the first of the month. And I said, well, what happens on the first of the month? So, well, then the girl gets her check, and then you see the guy for maybe 10 days. She lavishes him with the food and whatever, and then he disappears again. And I'm saying, and then I said, and then we always said, like, whatever happens in California, it takes 10 years or so to get to Denver. And a lot of people are leaving California, and then they're coming here and they see, wow, the price is so low. They start buying up the houses, the mortgage start going up, the rent start going up, because the owners realize that these people have more money than the people that are living here. And then
That's absolutely right.
But yeah, it's just weird. Like it came here.
Take a bow, Boulder.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
yeah.
absolutely right. I mean, 20, 30 years. Oh, yeah. 20, 30 years ago, you could buy homes in places like Fort Collins, like Boulder, for pennies on the dollar compared to what they are now. And then, of course, now you got the interest rates being what they are. No reason for half of this stuff that's going on. I mean, I understand inflation, but there's no reason for half this stuff that's going on.
Yeah. And the silliest thing I did was we saw a house on Colfax and Colorado Boulevard, and it was $20,000. It's like back in the 80s. Late 80s or 90s. And I was afraid that, we were going to invest in it and let's buy it. But I was afraid, like, I wonder what happens there after night, because 20,000, because my mother's and my father's house, their house cost 47,000.
Right.
And this is one of those, they call them a shotgun house.
Mm-hmm.
And I could kick myself because that neighborhood is now worth more money than that 20,000.
Me too. That's a very similar situation. I mean, I've got a townhome that I purchased when I was married, and gave that on over after my fiery divorce, and then about 2014, my ex-wife decided she wanted to go ahead and try and sell it, so she sold it. And boy, if only she'd have waited. Right around now, she would have raked it in.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's about being in a mindset.
Yeah.
Because I had this friend that Uncle U, we call him, and he was saying, Johnny, with your nonprofit, you can get a building, and because you have a nonprofit, you can do this, and my mind just wasn't clicking.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, man, it's like it was just interesting. Like, it's nice to have people around you like that, and sometimes you get it, and sometimes you don't. And can we talk about somebody? Well, let's see. That's the title of the show. Should we go to that person first, or should we go? No. Or should we go to Conan, who he got it. He turned on Trump. Then he turned on what the judge and the prosecutors. He's
Michael
just turning
Cohen?
left. Yeah, he's just turning left and right on people.
He told them he was going to lie to him. He told them he was going to lie to him.
Yeah.
Well, a serial liar, what does a serial liar do? He lies.
Yes. I have a friend who, when in grade school, he was a kleptomaniac, and our teacher would have to almost strip search him before he would leave school, because we would bring toys for show and tell, and then we would go off to play, and then we'd come back and the toy would be gone. Right?
Yes,
and
they'd be gone.
And those little Matchbox cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just look at. He would put that in his shoe, and he would walk normal.
Walk around in that all day long, man.
Well, at least after lunch
Just not
break,
to get caught.
and she would say, take off your shoes. And there it would be, And so, and even today, I can't let him in my house because he was at my, he was 32 years old. He was at me and my ex's house, and she was reading the paper, and she started looking for the TV guy. We couldn't find it, and we would have gave him the TV guy.
Like, dude, you got.
So Michael Cohen is a John. Should I say his last? Well, I don't think he'll say that.
No,
John,
I wouldn't dox the guy.
Oh,
so
man.
Michael Cohen's the gentleman that we went to school with, who basically decided for himself that certain things belonged to him when they most assuredly did not.
Yes, and I could never understand that mindset, but it exists.
Yeah,
especially you'd like to think that people can grow out of stuff, but maybe in some cases, unless they want to grow out of it, they don't.
That's right. That's right. Well, right. I think like in Michael Cohen's case, I mean, he was very clear about it yesterday on the stand. I think when he mentioned the idea that hey, this is a bonus I got a year before. I deserve that money. It wasn't built in, so yeah, I stole it.
Yeah, good negotiator. To negotiate him down from 50,000 to 20,000.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
Good. Pretty good.
Yeah, right.
I need some people that negotiate this. Shoot, I mean, so and so he was valuable. And then this other guy that came in who knew him, I guess the judge didn't like that this guy was staring at him.
Yeah.
Oh, Costello? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you eyeing me?
Hey, you're staring me down? What's going on here?
Yeah. And my daughters, they used to call it mugging. Yeah. They keep changing these names, but it all means the same thing: staring somebody down. And I didn't know people can get that paranoid just because somebody's. That's what you got eyes for. You use them.
He was rolling his eyes when they asked my question.
Oh man! So he had to clear the courtroom, and even some people still heard him yelling at the guy, say, "Hey, but he knew this guy well enough to know how to dig into his craw, So man,
I think the judge got so angry because he does realize, hey man, there is no case here. The jury, doesn't matter what I'm telling them, hey, don't research this on Google, don't do this, don't do that. And it's like, if you got nothing to hide, if you got nothing to worry about, if the case is solid and if it's airtight, why are you instructing the jury not to use their own minds and the tools at their disposal to make to help them to make a good choice?
But most of that jury are anti-Trump anyway.
Well, sure, but even so, I really believe they're starting to see that some of this is just over the top, way over the top. So we'll see what happens here. I think they rested their defense today. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be today, if not Thursday. If they have anything, they clean up for Thursday and Friday, and then I think they're going to take the Memorial weekend off and then come back next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So is it Labor Day or Memorial Day?
Memorial Day.
Okay,
Memorial Day,
yeah. So we shall see how the clock turns in this fiasco. Kind of just ridiculous, but it's always been corrupt in some ways, like the old Southern judges and lawyers. I mean, you would they even played like in different songs. That's the night when the lights went out in Georgia. If you listen to that song, I mean, so it's just now it's just, I guess it's been on a bigger scale, and who knows what's going to happen with Fannie. I guess they had an election today, and this other guy said, well, if you put me in charge, I'm going to still go after Trump. And somehow, I think I heard somewhere in the back thing that he did win. So Fannie didn't win this, whatever she was running for. I don't know if it's district attorney or what. So
She was trying to get reelected as district attorney, or wait,
yeah. So I heard something about that the tables had turned, but he had said, if you elect me, and it's so stupid. If you elect me, I'm going to find someone guilty who's not guilty just because. I mean, what about I'm going to help stop crime here by putting people that do bad things in jail, that really do bad things to you. Trump is like way over there. How is what he does going to do hurt you, who's getting carjacked, who's getting, I can't think, I've never heard of, and people vote for this? I'm thinking like,
Well, do they though?
Yeah, that's another
actually a good question. That's actually a
Yeah.
really good question that
I mean,
we all should
people
ask
haven't
ourselves.
voted all these hard left people into office. They just haven't.
No.
I don't believe. I mean, that's my own opinion. But did Biden win the election?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Is he going to try it again? I think
Oh
so.
yeah, they got the bird flu. I think
Yeah, that's
who was
coming
talking
up.
about? Yeah, the bird flu and
Oh,
gain
we
of
got the
gain
bird
of
flu.
function.
We've got gain of function. We've got what else?
Bird
Oh,
flu
we got
going
the,
into cows.
Oh yeah, we got the
Have
climate change
We're
thing.
going to have flying cows here pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow. We got it all around here, man. I mean, I tell you guys, I'm going to invent a time machine out of bubble gum and duct tape and maybe some paper clips and rubber bands. I'm going back to the 80s and I'm going to write a book and I'm going to sell that thing. I'm going to make a movie and man, I'm going to get rich.
oh man. Now I have 4 topics, but I can't remember the one before the Cardi B one.
Hang on, let me find it.
Let's see. Yeah.
At least I think I have 4 topics. I had the one about Harris, the football player.
Harris is top one. IRS business taxation.
Oh,
Cardi
did we ever
B.
talk about the? Did we ever
Yeah.
talk about the tax? Yeah, we
Well,
talked
I
about
brought
that.
it up. I
Kinda.
don't know much about it. And I would urge people to just Google anything dealing with new laws that our President Joe Biden has passed that deal with new tax laws for 2024 for businesses. You'll be really interested to know what's all in this for businesses and for employees if they don't fill out the correct paperwork. $500 a day fines if you don't, do certain things, up to $500 a day anyway. And so, it promises to be quite a lot of fun for folks that, man, they're already having a hard enough time trying to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Gotta go spend your money on an attorney so that you can do it right.
That's right.
Gee. Yeah. And speaking of doing it right or wrong, anytime you trust a pole dancer to get you to go out to vote for a certain candidate, you got to question your own. Let's see.
You got to question your own sanity is what you got to do.
Common sense, sanity, and I mean, I guess they were reaching for the lowest of fruit, and perhaps these kids went to their parents and said, "Daddy, mommy, you got it," or whatever, "Daddy, mommy," or "Daddy, baby, daddy," or whatever. You got to vote for this person, and it's like, oh man, and now, even a pole dancer, what is it called, tweakers, foul mouth, person that would drug you and take your wallet, female who won't get arrested for that. I can't believe that she admitted that she drugged guys and took their money. And I know some guys say, yeah, I remember her.
Wow.
And just like, getting back to the Michael Cohen, the 14-year-old who in 2016 was pranking him. I bet, how old is she now? Like in her mid-20s? I bet
she was 14, it was 2016. Yeah.
I wish she would come out, and I would love to interview her. Like, how did you want to start pranking this guy? What was it about him? Because there's some people that, used to say, that's a goofball. And maybe some kids say, nah, 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 nah. That's like looking at a Star Trek episode with the kids. Right? But I would love, I wonder if somebody's going to get that interview. And I don't know, man. It would be nice if she was somewhere here in Colorado. But it doesn't even matter. But somebody's going to get that interview, and I'm going to be looking for it. So anyway, so Cardi B and Dwayne Johnson, he actually went on Fox TV and said that this time around he's not going to endorse anybody.
Oh wow!
Right. So he learned his lesson because people really looked at his decision and I guess and you never know what these people are. They may be just saying stuff because it's a paycheck, and you got all these people going to your movie, and maybe a lot of conservative people were going to his movie, and then they said, forget about it. So that's money out of the pocket, right?
Yeah.
So
in the end, who really cares about what an actor thinks? They're paid liars.
Yes.
Well, and that's really a good point. And I think what I was saying earlier is Generation X, Y, and Z are all starting to wake up and start to get to this point where, hey, why should we care what these high paid celebrities think? Why should we care what these politicians think if they're just going to tax us out, into oblivion and then send our hard earned money that they just stole from us over to wherever.
People need to get it into their head that we aren't subservient to the government. Government is subservient to us.
That's right.
People just don't see it that way.
Well, no, and of course, what they are trying to build into the system out of the all-powerful them, is a class of people that are beholden to the government, people like the blind community who depend upon a check every single month, who if they don't receive that check, they'll starve.
Well, same with Social Security. I mean, I depend on it. I have to have it.
Yeah. So, so the idea being, hey, we're going to make it this way. If you don't toe the line, you're not going to get, you're not going to get paid. And unless and until we get to this place where, hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is too much of a nail for us to lay on the deck on, and it is too painful. It's not going to change. So, the idea of really getting in there, learning your history, not just what you're being told, but and not just the stuff that Google supplies to you, because our history is digitally being rewritten as we speak.
Yeah. And I was telling you earlier that I was Googling about what the Democrats and the Democrats did back in the 60s, and it acted as if that Democrats didn't even that name wasn't even there, and what they did didn't even happen. It was the Democrats that were rah 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 and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, no, it's like the Republicans, the party that said, hey, we should stop the slavery. They had a big part in this too, but they flipped it to make it sound like the Democrats were all in. When John F. Kennedy, you go back, this is a documentary with Sammy Davis Jr. and what was it? What was that? The other singer,
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, and I think it was not Dean Martin, because he didn't fall for it.
Bing
But
Crosby.
yeah, Dean Martin, he didn't fall for it, and he didn't have anything to do with it. But when Sammy was going to marry that white chick, the Kennedys cut him off. So he went all into the black neighborhood and said, vote for them. And then Kennedy put some distance between them. And when he had the wedding, he didn't call it, say congratulations and all that kind of stuff. So that's when Sammy Davis Jr. switched and said, wait a minute, you guys going to treat me like this? I'm going to switch this direction, but they would have you to believe that the Democrats were so much down for these communities, and they were only down when it was going to make them look bad. When Kennedy saw on television that these dogs are being sick on these people, they said, well, maybe we should do something. But as long as it wasn't embarrassing him, he, put his finger in the air and say which way the wind is blowing. And then when he got, assassinated by, a lot of us think that the CIA, because he crossed the gangsters that got him in the office instead of playing along.
He was going to break the CIA up. He was going to scatter it into a million pieces.
Yeah. So they said, well, we can't have that,
And who was head of CIA? George
CIA.
H. Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that up. The CIA head at that time. So
Right.
it's
Imagine
actually
that,
really
huh?
fascinating. That's why I tell you guys, man, I got to write a book. I got to write a book.
Yeah, but you young people, talk to some of these older people. There's the best, and get it right. Google it and then ask somebody that hopefully somebody that's old enough to remember, and say, is this, according to your memory, is this right?
Right.
Because I Googled this stuff and I'm thinking like, wait a minute, I knew something else was going on, and I could find those videos that would point out the stuff that because I listen to so much stuff, but I know how to go back and get it. And sometimes I'll make a recording and put it on my computer just in case of, YouTube fades away or something.
See, now, a lot of times Google won't give you correct information. They'll give you what they want to give you because they're part of the whole deal too. It's if you use other search engines, I use Brave right now, and that seems to be the best one I've found so far. But it's not going to bring up as many choices for you to go look at stuff, but it's not going to have the mainstream
lies
that go with it. It'll have actual information
or half truths.
Yeah.
That's another one. It's like, don't tell me the whole truth, just tell me half of the truth.
Yeah.
Or depending on who's in office, just make that side look good in a time where they really wasn't good. But I can't wait for this convention in Chicago, man. Some people say they're going to have it virtual, so they don't have to deal with the protesters. But I hope
you could be safer.
Yeah,
I hope not.
Be safer.
I hope not. And then some people said there might be some protesters showing up in Milwaukee, and we shall see. I'm ready for it. Because I remember when they were protesting here in Colorado. I was standing on Champa, and they had the cops were separating them on the 16th Street Mall. So one side was on one side, and they were shouting back at each other, and the cops were in the middle, keeping them apart. And I thought it was like fun. It was, but I know Denver. There, I'm going to be with the sighted person, so it's going to be interesting. Oh, it says low battery. I got 10%.
You're bad. Your phone's gonna die now.
Yes. All right, you guys. So I guess I'll charge my phone up better tomorrow.
Hey, there you go. Well, don't miss tomorrow's show. I'm sure we'll have a nice jam-packed. Man, the news cycle never stops.
Oh yeah. All right. Have a blessed day, you guys, and
you guys too.
have a good day.
God bless.